Welcome to NWJ. This is video number 8 in the complete beginner series. This class we're going to be focusing on backbends. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get ready to let go and let's flow. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce the new poses that are going to be in the sequence before we get started. The first one I'm going to demonstrate is locust pose. So in locust pose, you're flat on your mat here. Your toes are pointed back, your glutes are engaged. You can either have your legs pointed straight back or you can have your legs open up the width of your mat here. You lower your chest onto your mat. You have your hands shimmied by your ribs here. And from here you push into your palms, draw your elbows together, look up. Your glutes are squeezed. You can raise one leg and then raise the other. Or if you can go ahead and raise both of your legs at the same time, opening up here for locust. Engaging your toes. Exhale, go ahead and lower to the mat if you were following along. So that's locust pose. The other pose that I'm going to introduce us to is camel pose. So in camel pose, your knees are hip width distance apart. Your toes are either flat on your mat or you're on the balls of your toes. It's important that your hips stay in line with your knees. So you're going to have to tuck your tailbone here, engage your core, and then you place your hands with your fingertips facing upward on your lower back or on the top of your booty. Draw your shoulders together, your elbows together, shoulder blades together. You look up, opening your chest here, breathing. Making sure that tailbone is tucked and your core is engaged. You don't want to have your hips go past your knees, and you don't want to have them go behind your knees either. So it's important that your knees are stacked with your hips. Alright, so that's a variation of camel that I'm going to introduce. The other pose I'm going to introduce is bridge pose. So on bridge pose, you're lying on your back. You aim to have your heels in line with your knees, so you never want your knees over your ankles here. So you would not want your feet all the way back by your hips, because then your knees would be over your ankles. That could cause stress on your knees. So first you want to try to have your heels in line with your knees. If you try this pose, so I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate. So press into your feet, press down into your palms. Make sure to keep your legs hip width distance, so no splaying out of the legs here. You lift up, glutes are engaged. Pushing your hips towards the ceiling. Trying to push higher as you exhale. So if you find that is a little bit difficult for you to access, it might be easier if you walk your feet out a little bit and try the same thing. So you go ahead and lift up, glutes engaged. Legs are hip width distance. Pushing your hips up to the ceiling. Exhale, go ahead and release if you were following along. And the last pose that I'm going to introduce us to is called Supta Baddha Konasana. It's more so of a relaxing pose. So it's basically butterfly but on your back, or you could say frog on your back. You would have your feet come together and just have your legs open up, arms resting by your side, or you can place one hand on your stomach, one hand on your heart. you would just breathe here, looking up at the sky or the ceiling, or closing your eyes, really being in tune with your breath. If you are following along, go ahead and close your legs here. Rock up to seated. Alright, so those are the poses that are going to be introduced in this sequence. We're going to go ahead and get started. So go ahead and ground your feet, starting in mountain pose here, reaching through your fingertips, core is engaged, firing up your quads, taking a few breaths. Really coming in touch with your breath here. Last breath. Go ahead and inhale, wave your arms up to the sky. Exhale, have your palms touch. Lower them slowly in front of you, coming into forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place your palms on your mat, step back into plank pose. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, go ahead and push back into tabletop, pushing your hips up to the sky, downward dog. Taking a few breaths here. Really pushing your hips up to the sky, looking at your feet or your belly button. Inhale, go ahead and shift forward, coming into plank. Exhale, go ahead and bend your elbows, lowering your whole body onto your mat. We're going to go ahead and come into locust. So scoot your hands back by your chest, point your toes back, either having your legs come the width of your mat or just having them come straight back, hip width distance. Go ahead and inhale, press into your palms, draw your elbows together, lift up. Squeezing your glutes, raise one leg, raise the other. Stay here if you feel this is what's best for you. If you can, go ahead and inhale, raise both legs, pointing through your toes, breathing. Exhale, go ahead and lower to your mat. Come onto the balls of your toes here, push into your palms, come into tabletop. From here, go ahead and shift your hips up in the sky, returning to downward dog. Breathing. From here, go ahead and inhale, shift forward into high plank. Go ahead and lower onto your knees. We're going to set up for camel pose here. So go ahead and basically rest on your knees here. Either have your toes flat or come onto the balls of your toes. From here, we're going to set up for camel. So go ahead and squeeze your glutes. Tuck your tailbone so your core is engaged. Hips over your knees. Place your palms on your upper booty or your lower back. Draw your elbows together. Open your chest, look up. Make sure your shoulders aren't scrunched by your ears. Exhale, go ahead and release. Come onto all fours here. Go ahead and open your knees the width of your mat. big toes touch. Push your hips back, come into child's pose. Breathing. Breathe with me. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and release, walking your palms back towards your hips. From here, go ahead and press into your right palm, swing your legs forward, coming onto your back. We're going to set up for bridge pose here. So go ahead and line your heels up with your knees, press through your feet, have your palms flat on your mat. Big inhale here. Exhale, go ahead and press up, shifting your hips up to the sky. Glutes engaged. Aiming to push your hips up a little bit more each exhale, making sure your legs aren't splaying out. Go ahead and release, lowering slowly to your mat. From here, go ahead and have your feet come together, your legs opening up, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. Resting here. Remembering your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Two more just like that. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and close your legs. Placing your hands on your upper hamstrings, pulling yourself up, coming to seated. Crossing your ankles. Go ahead and inhale, raise your arms to the sky. Exhale, have your palms touch, lower to heart center. Alright, so we're going to run through that sequence one more time. So let's go ahead and start in mountain pose once again. Pressing through your feet, palms open, reaching through your fingers, core engaged. Coming back to your breath. Inhale, go ahead and raise your arms to the sky. Exhale, have your palms touch. Lower to heart center. Bend your knees, come into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place your palms on your mat, step back into plank pose. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, push back, tabletop. Come onto the balls of your toes, push your hips up to the sky, downward dog. Breathing here. Pushing your hips up to the sky, looking at your feet or your belly button. Inhale, go ahead and shift forward, coming into plank pose. Exhale, go ahead and lower your chest to your mat. Preparing for lotus. So point your feet back. Ankles rolled in towards each other. Your hands by your chest, pressing through your palms. Inhale, lift up. Raise one leg at a time or both legs. Breathe. Locust. Shoulders drawn away from ears. Pointing through your toes or flexing your toes. Exhale, lower. Go ahead and press up, coming into tabletop. From here, press into your palms, lift your hips up to the sky, downward dog. Inhale, go ahead and shift forward, coming into high plank. Lower onto your knees. Gonna go ahead and set up for camel pose. So go ahead and rest on your knees. Have your toes point back or on the balls of your toes. Engage your core, tucking your tailbone, squeezing your glutes, making sure your hips are in line with your knees. Place your palms either on your upper booty or lower back, aiming to have your fingertips face upward. If they need to face down, that's perfectly fine. Draw your elbows together, shoulder blades together, opening your chest. Look up, breathe. Exhale, go ahead and release. Lower your palms onto your mat here. Have your big toes touch. Open your knees the width of your mat. Sit your hips back, coming into child's pose. Arms extended in front of you. Lower your forehead on your mat. Really listening to your breath here. So inhale. Exhale. One more like that. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and walk your fingertips back towards your hips. Place your right palm beside you, pressing into your palm. Swinging your legs in front of you, we're going to come into bridge. So go ahead and align your heels with your knees. Place your palms down. Press through your feet. Inhale. Go ahead and exhale. Squeeze your glutes, raising your hips up to the sky as high as you can. Breathe. Remembering to walk your feet out a bit if it's difficult for your heels to be in line with your knees. Exhale, lift higher. Last breath. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and release, coming slowly to your mat. Have your feet touch, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, opening your legs up here, looking at the ceiling or the sky or whatever's above you. Breathe. Have your arms rest beside you, or you can place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Listening to your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Compress all that air out. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and close your legs. Rocking forward to seated. legs crossed here. Inhale, go ahead and raise your arms to the sky, engaging your fingertips. Exhale, palms touch. Lowering slowly in front of you, stopping first at your forehead for peace of mind. Then stopping in front of your eyes for clarity. Then stopping in front of your heart for acceptance. Last breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Namaste. Thank you, beautiful souls, for partaking in video number 8 in the beginner series with me. I hope that your chest feels open, your back feels as if it was engaged, and I hope you thoroughly enjoyed the backbends we did today in class. Remember that sometimes to go forward, we do need to acknowledge the past. So it's okay to go in the past to move forward, but never stay in the past. Constantly strive to become better, become your best self, and heal from the past as well. Remember to shine the beautiful light that's inside every single one of you. Please show your girl some love. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and until next time.